How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Quentin Go. This is Why So Prepared, and it's part of the Why So series. In this series, I do questions, starting off with Why So, questions pertaining to the EDC community, or the Everyday Carry community. This is questions that we get asked, that we ask each other, and maybe that we ask ourselves. This is a follow-up series for the unpopular opinion. It's all about getting the communication flowing between members of the Everyday Carry community. Now, today is Why So Prepared, as you've seen in the title as well. And this is actually questions that us as EDC'ers get asked by people that aren't as prepared as we are. So, it's a decision each day to be part of the Everyday Carry community. It's not a decision that you make once, it's a decision that you make every morning. That's where the word comes from, EDC, Everyday Carry, not once in a while carry. So, decision making is the act of making a decision or coming to a conclusion with the information available to you. And that is dictated by the level of your training, how you process that information. So if you see that you are going to need something or have the foresight to have a scenario in mind, because that's just what Everyday Carry is you preparing for a certain scenario. I've got a bunch of goodies lined up here. Now, these goodies isn't part of my, or aren't part of my Everyday Carry. Some of them are, some of them are not. But I'm going to show you some of them, but I am going to go through my gear in a follow-up video to this one. So think of this as part 1 and then my Everyday Carry as part 2. So as we said, that you have a certain scenario in mind. You're thinking, well, I'm going to need something during the course of my day, because you need to be prepared for a little bit more as well. No one in a incident, accident, survival situation, or fight for their life think that they are going to be the victims of that scenario that day. You have the foresight to think in advance, and that's why you prepare for it beforehand, whether it's gear that you buy or the training that you receive or that you go for, because that's also one of the dictating factors, is how well you use your gears by the training that you have received. Now, each morning that you get up, I don't think that I'm going to have to fight for my life later on that day. So that's why we prepare beforehand. And it couldn't even be as drastic as that. It might be just, well, maybe I need a knife. I need to cut something open, cut a box open, cut some biltong, something like that. And biltong is beef jerky for the guys in the US. Yeah, it's just better tasting. Anyway, so let's go through some things as the natural progression of the everyday carry person goes. Usually we start off with a knife. A lot of people started off with a Swiss Army knife like I did. This is a slightly better one. This is the Pioneer, the Alox one. This is where my journey started off with everyday carry, is with a Swiss Army knife. Not this one, because I probably lost about 3 Swiss Army knives already, because I was a kid. Started off carrying a knife when I was, I think, about 7 years old. So it's been a while. But this is the natural progression of EDC, as you start off with a knife. And for a normal person off the streets, it's going to be weird for them if you carry a knife. If they see you carrying a knife, they're always going to ask you, well, or I've been asked this question numerous times, why do you need to carry a knife? So my answer always is that carry a knife for a week and you'll see how much you actually need it and how much you use it, which is actually quite interesting to know that. Moving on, I'm not going to do wallets and cell phones and stuff like that. Everyone carries that. This is stuff that's slightly out of the ordinary. Next up is going to be a flashlight. Flashlights is the same thing. I never really carried a flashlight. I've been carrying a flashlight, I think, for the last 3 years now already. It's not really something that I had in mind that I'm going to use a lot, but I think I use a flashlight more than I use a knife. This is a really brilliant tool, and I implore you to use a flashlight, not just for survival situations, but for everyday carry life. You need a flashlight a lot more than you actually think or realize. Now, a progression from carrying a normal pocket knife is going to be carrying a defensive blade, something like this. This is just the next step. Now, I'm not saying that this is the best defensive blade out there. This is just the next step. So what this is, a Kershaw Emerson combination. This is now slightly more inclined towards the defensive side because it has a Emerson wave, making it a fast deployable blade. So if you have it in your pocket, it's going to deploy a lot faster and you can defend your life probably a lot easier than having a two-handed opening knife. And it looks cool as well, bragging rights to your buddies. Next up to that, staying within the knives thing, you might go for something like this. This is the Fox Knives Dart. Same thing, this is just an upgraded version from the knife that we just did. This has a karambit ring, which gives you a slightly more control, and it gives you a secondary weapon as well, being a blunt weapon. Same thing as well, it has a quick deploy, the Emerson wave, so that just makes life a whole lot easier if you want to defend your life with this. Now, carrying a blade dedicated for being a defensive blade like this one, you are preparing for the eventuality of probably defending your life with that weapon. Whether it's your primary weapon or it's your secondary weapon, we'll get to a good primary weapon choice in a bit. You are preparing for the eventuality of stabbing someone. So putting that knife on, you need to go, well, I need to make peace with the fact that I might need to stab someone. And don't just take it at face value, because me, as I'm standing here, I will never just stab someone. I'm not a killer. I'm just an average person. But if that person is threatening my life and I really need to use it, then I need to sort that out with myself and with my maker. It's just how it is. Now, moving on. You might need a tactical pen like this. Tactical, this is more like a multi-function pen. This has a couple of uses. This has your flashlight. This is the Wooburn Gecko, one that I recently received. It has a glass breaker as well, and it has a pen function. So you've upgraded from just a normal pen, you've gone to a multi-function pen. Now you've gone, well, this is the next level in the progression. I think that I might need to use the glass breaker, whether it's for myself getting out of my vehicle, whether I've gone into water or upside down, can't get the doors open, then I can use the glass breaker to get out. Or I need to get someone out that's been in an accident, can't get them out, I need to break the window to get the person out. That's why you carry a glass breaker, or one of the reasons. You might carry a multi-tool. Now this has multi-usages, ran out of breath there. Multi-usages, which means that there's a couple of ways that you can use this. Now, something that needs more training. Remember, defensive blade needs training as well. You can't just strap it on and think that you are going to be a badass. But this is a next level in training. So as you progress through your everyday carry journey, I've said this in previous videos as well, don't judge people with the knowledge that they have, and don't think that the knowledge that you have is the alpha and omega of everyday carry. Think of it as being a journey. There might be someone that's lower down on the journey. Never talk down to them, try and build them up to pull them towards the same level as you. Same thing with someone maybe a bit higher on their EDC or defensive journey. Don't try and pull them down with the knowledge that you have. They are probably more advanced than you are. Which gets me to medical. Carrying a medical every day is probably one of the best things that you can do. This is a med kit from Deployed Concepts, and this is a cat tourniquet from Deployed Concepts as well. Not just there to save your life, but save someone else's life as well. That needs training, and the average person that everyday carries doesn't really see the need for medical. There's definitely a need for it, and get training. At least do a stop the bleed course. Next up is a firearm. Now this is a Glock 19. This is a good defensive pistol, especially for men. This is nice and compact for our bigger frames. Ladies are probably going to conceal something smaller, a bit easier, but I know a lot of ladies that carry a Glock 19 easily as well. My mom does, and she is a tiny lady as well, very small frame. So now you've gone through the training, you've seen that you need a pistol as a weapon or as a defensive weapon. Now this is going to be your primary, and then probably a knife is going to be your secondary. What's next after this is going to be carrying extra magazine. Now this is the Southwest Holster Rattler, and there you can see there's an extra magazine here. So why would someone want to carry an extra magazine? Check that out in the follow-up video. That's going to be why so much gear. So what I'm getting at with this is you're preparing for a certain scenario with this. This is what the everyday carry community is all about, is preparedness. So how prepared are you? What scenario are you preparing for? Is it something as small as maybe I get handed a piece of biltong, or I need to open up a box? Or are you prepared to defend your life or defend someone else's life? Have a good one, guys. Cheers.